I am outside at the moment just getting a little bit of a taste of the weather. It was benign, but it's picked up again, as you can see. Now, at the State Control Centre, they have been taking calls from people who have been seeing some of the destruction as they've woken up, and they have received well over 500 calls for help. 426 of those have been for trees down and 74 for buildings that have been damaged in this extreme weather. Now, we heard from Bev overnight. She is in Chelsea Heights, which is in Melbourne's southeastern suburbs, and she says that she was left shaking for hours after a really near miss involving a fallen tree near her home. This is what she had to say.
Heard this almighty crash outside and was very concerned, and I looked out my window and saw tree branches against the edge of my window, so I came downstairs to investigate what was happening and saw a branch of my tree had come off. Very fortunately, it just missed my window except for the few branches that touched it.
So that's Bev there saying that she feels as if someone was looking over her last night. Not so fortunate was a family out in Glen Waverley in Melbourne's southeast with a big tree there about 30 metres long and 1.5 metres in diameter. We heard from SES Chief of Operations Tim Webush about that just a little while ago. This is what he had to say.
Had a house damaged in Glen Waverley, in the back of the house that's collapsed as a result of a large tree coming down. Fortunately, no injuries there. But we are expecting, as the winds cross the state throughout the day and they'll re-intensify across Melbourne this afternoon, that we will see further damage as the winds move through the state.
And we've heard from the SES and also the Weather Bureau that there are these severe weather warnings for damaging winds and associated thunderstorms and real squally rain that really covers more than half of the state, at least the lower half of the state. Tim Webush also says that there are wind warnings, gale warnings for the coast, as well as really strong, dangerous surf warnings and abnormally high tides. So it's definitely not the day to go out and do any rock fishing. But apart from these warnings in Victoria, we're also seeing warnings across in South Australia, some severe weather warnings mainly contained to the southeast of the state, and that's actually expected to ease very soon as this whole weather system contracts eastwards. There are also severe weather warnings and gale warnings for the coasts of Tasmania, as well as with damaging winds for the western part and northern part of the state, including King Island. But we've already seen some of these peak gusts overnight. We're talking about 128 kilometres per hour in Mount Buller, as well as over in the state's west, 106 kilometres per hour over in Portland. And apart from the gusts, there are also these sustained winds as well, which have been causing damage. So they're the long-running ones that we've seen sustained throughout last night and into the day. So, for example, Kilmore Gap, they had wind gusts of 93 kilometres per hour, but sustained winds of 72 kilometres per hour throughout the night as well.